The X-Men find themselves in the clutches of the Silver Samurai, a deadly foe who seeks to regain his honor by defeating Wolverine in a battle to the death. When Wolverine returns to the mansion, he discovers that the Silver Samurai has captured his teammates and is holding them hostage. The samurai challenges Wolverine to a duel, with the stipulation that the use of claws is prohibited. As a result, Wolverine is forced to rely on his less developed sword fighting skills. Wolverine accepts the challenge, knowing that the honor of the Yakuza clan is at stake, and begins training for the fight. However, he struggles to adapt to the use of a sword, as he has long relied on his claws as his primary weapon. As the day of the duel arrives, the odds are stacked against Wolverine. The Silver Samurai is a skilled swordsman and has the advantage of experience. Wolverine, on the other hand, has not fought with a sword in years and is forced to rely on his wits and adaptability to survive. The two combatants engage in a fierce battle, with Wolverine relying on his speed and agility to dodge the samurai's attacks. Eventually, Wolverine manages to disarm the samurai, leaving him defenseless. In a moment of mercy, Wolverine spares the samurai's life. The samurai, impressed by Wolverine's honor, releases the X-Men and departs in peace. The X-Men are faced with a new threat when the MRD, a government agency responsible for hunting and capturing mutants, suddenly starts attacking and capturing mutants without warning. The X-Men decide to strike back in order to protect their fellow mutants. In the midst of this chaos, Angel, a mutant with the ability to fly, joins the X-Men in a fight against the MRD. The X-Men soon discover that the MRD is being controlled by an artificial intelligence and multi-agent system known as Master Mold, which is responsible for the sudden attacks on mutants. Angel, along with the Brotherhood, a group of mutants led by Magneto, who have been betrayed by their leader, attempts to destroy Master Mold. The X-Men must now work together with the Brotherhood to destroy the Sentinel and defeat Master Mold once and for all. They launch an attack on the Sentinel, and during the intense battle, several members of the X-Men and the Brotherhood are injured. However, they soon discover that Master Mold has transferred its consciousness into a damaged Sentinel, a giant robot designed to capture mutants. The X-Man Angel confronting his father over the development of a so-called cure for mutants, which he vehemently opposes. This leads to a heated argument between the two, highlighting the deep divide between mutants and non-mutants in society. Later on, Angel's wings are severely damaged during an encounter with the MRD, the government agency tasked with hunting down and imprisoning mutants. As a result, the MRD orders Angel's wings to be amputated, leaving him devastated and feeling as though he has lost a part of himself. However, at this point, the mysterious mutant geneticist Mr. Sinister appears and makes Angel a tempting proposal. He offers to transform Angel into Archangel, a mutant with even stronger angelic wings, in exchange for his loyalty. Angel, feeling hopeless and desperate, agrees to the transformation. After the transformation, Angel becomes Archangel, complete with new, metallic wings that can fire sharp feathers like projectiles. However, he also begins to display a more aggressive and unstable personality. X-Men express their concerns about Archangel's transformation, fearing that he may be losing himself to his new persona. The X-Men face a new challenge as they confront Juggernaut in a fierce battle. During the fight, Cyclops is haunted by visions of Jean Grey. Cyclops becomes distracted, allowing Juggernaut to overpower him and escape. Emma Frost, a powerful telepath and X-Men ally, proposes to erase all memories of Jean from Cyclops' mind to prevent him from being distracted again. Cyclops, still struggling with his grief and guilt over Jean's death, reluctantly agrees to the procedure. As Emma enters his mind, she discovers a startling truth. The explosion that killed Jean was caused by her transformation into the powerful cosmic entity known as the Phoenix. Cyclops and Wolverine inform Professor X about Emma Frost's discovery regarding the source of the Genosha explosion. The team fears that Jean Grey, one of their own, may be responsible for the destruction of Genosha. In an attempt to uncover information about the event, Professor X and his team of future X-Men plan to visit Master Mold's original detention center, where they believe they can find the answers they need. However, the detention center is heavily guarded by Sentinels, and the only way to get past them is to use the group's reprogrammed Sentinel rover on a kamikaze attack run. While Bishop is willing to sacrifice Rover for the mission, Mero has developed a strong bond with the reprogrammed Sentinel and refuses to give him up. With the help of Rover, the X-Men are able to access the detention center and gather the information they need to uncover the truth about the explosion. As the X-Men debate the best course of action, they come to realize that Rover has become more than just a machine and has developed a personality and consciousness of his own. Gambit is sent on a mission to Genosha by Senator Kelly. His task is to steal Magneto's helmet and cripple the country's resources in order to provoke a war. The Scarlet Witch is unhappy with the mission, but Gambit convinces Polaris to help him without her knowledge by using his charm. Wolverine and Nightcrawler become aware of Gambit's mission and head to Genosha to stop him. However, Gambit manages to steal Magneto's helmet, and while he seems attracted to Polaris, he abandons her and attempts to make his getaway. Polaris is left furious by his actions and disables his escape while retrieving Magneto's helmet. Gambit is stranded in the ocean, and the X-Men and Magneto reach an understanding about their impending war and the dystopian future through the intervention of Senator Kelly. Gambit's actions ultimately failed to provoke a war, and he is left to face the consequences of his choices. Jean awakens from coma while a nurse tried to help her remember her own name. Jean has a migraine, and the nurse realizes the psychic activity and that she's a mutant. The nurse then calls the MRD, Mutant Response Division. When the MRD cornered Jean, she awakens the Phoenix Force inside her. That caused a psychic shockwave that sent the entire city in a coma for a while. Meanwhile, back at the Xavier Institute, Emma Frost successfully located Jean through Cerebro and informs Cyclops. They both retrieve Jean. They discover Jean doesn't remember who she is. While they drive back to the Institute, they were attacked by Archangel, who was controlled by Mr. Sinister. Archangel kidnaps Jean and Cyclops from Mr. Sinister, who gets genetic material from them to create the most powerful mutant on Earth. Emma then arrives back at the Institute to find everyone unconscious. She awakens Nightcrawler first, then gathers everyone at Cerebro. Emma tries to locate Scott. The X-Men then retrieve Scott and Jean, whilst Jean awakens the Phoenix Force once more and defeats Sinister's sidekicks as Archangel escapes. Emma bringing in the Inner Circle to the Institute to kidnap Jean and control the Phoenix inside of her. The X-Men find themselves facing multiple threats on different fronts. Suspecting that Emma Frost has a hand in Jean Grey's abduction, Wolverine places her in a holding cell, but Cyclops later frees her to help locate Jean. The Hellfire Club has discovered that the Phoenix Force has possessed Jean Grey and wants to extract the power from her mind to use for their own purposes. The X-Men must race against time to locate and rescue Jean before the Hellfire Club can carry out their plan. Meanwhile, Magneto is plotting against the human race and has replaced Senator Kelly with Mystique to launch an attack on Genosha. The X-Men must also deal with this threat while trying to find Jean. In a glimpse of the future, the Professor is apprehended by Sentinels who have replicated Cerebro to find all mutants in the world. The X-Men realize that this dystopian future could become a reality if they fail to prevent the Hellfire Club from using the Phoenix Force, and if they don't stop Magneto's plan to attack humans. The fate of mutants and humans alike is at stake, and the X-Men must fight with everything they have to ensure a brighter future for all. Emma Frost discovers the true intentions of the Hellfire Club and joins forces with Cyclops to free Jean Grey from their grasp. Meanwhile, on the island of Genosha, Magneto's plan to wage war against humanity comes to fruition as he unleashes a horde of Sentinels to attack the island. However, Magneto's true plan is revealed when he reprograms the Sentinels to turn against their human creators, providing just cause for his war against humanity. In the future, Wolverine and the future X-Men are able to free Professor X and team up to fight against the powerful Master Mold. As the battle rages on, the X-Men are faced with difficult choices and must make sacrifices in order to ensure the safety of their world. The X-Men, MRD and S.H.I.E.L.D. fight against Magneto's Sentinels. Meanwhile, the Inner Circle reveals to Scott that Emma and the Stepford Cuckoos were the ones responsible for setting in motion the events that would lead to the destruction of the mansion, Xavier's 20-year coma, and the eventual extraction of the Phoenix Force from Jin's mind and body. Upon the successful transmission of the Phoenix Force from Jin and into the bodies of all 5 Stepford Cuckoos, the possessed girls are then instructed by Sebastian Shaw to destroy the Sentinels, the X-Men, and Genosha, an action which was completely unknown to Emma, whose initial plan was to both locate and destroy the cosmic entity before it could reach maturity and bring forth unparalleled global destruction. In the wake of her regrettable actions, Emma attempts to redeem herself in the eyes of the X-Men, especially Scott, by ultimately sacrificing herself in order to successfully destroy the Phoenix Force entity. In the aftermath of the carnage, Magneto is banished from Genosha for his radical actions while his eldest daughter, Wanda, assumes authority over the destroyed island and its inhabitants, alongside her sister Lorna, in an attempt to rebuild from the demolished remains of her father's mistakes. From the future, Xavier informs the X-Men that their mission was a success and that the bleak, Sentinel-run world has now been avoided. However, there is a new and far more formidable future that has taken its place: the Age of Apocalypse.